Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Voting and violence. 40 people have died violent deaths over the past week, ramping up to parliamentary elections in Cairo, after which many are predicting the Muslim Brotherhood will be confirmed as a powerful force in the Egyptian government. This week's elections will fill parliament spots for 1/3 of the country's 27 governorates, while other elections will be held on December 14th and 15th and January 3rd and 4th to fill the others. The Muslim Brotherhood, established in 1928 to revive Islam and Sharia law's social dominance against Western influences, is expected to take control of the lower house of parliament, also called the People's Assembly, when its session opens in March. Though some Egyptians were considering a boycott of the election, Ahmad al-Tayeb, regarded as the top authority of Sunni Islam, has announced publicly that those who do not cast their vote in the election are, quote, sinners. Meanwhile, in America, government is getting ready to have an election of its own regarding oppression of freedoms, with due process denied. The Senate is gearing up for a vote on a bill that has many Americans concerned over their Fifth Amendment rights, or to be protected from government abuse of legal procedures. According to conservativehideout.com and other sources, the National Defense Authorization Act would give the current president and any other president in the future the right to arrest anyone suspected of being a terrorist, doing away with due process laws that force the government to prove their guilt. Even the ACLU has stepped up to fight the passing of this bill, which currently has Democrats in the Senate fighting each other, but a vote is expected within the week. You can read more about the National Defense Authorization Act on our resource page by clicking the link right outside the screen. Sharing the blame. According to the Associated Press, the Church's moral voice has been muted by a number of problems, particularly when it comes to the sex abuse scandal. The media's scrutiny was recently provoked after Pope Benedict XVI's comments to bishops from around the United States at the Vatican. While the Holy Father has publicly acknowledged the Church's faults in handling the sex abuse crisis, he now finds himself under fire for pointing out that these sins are shared by society at large, saying, quote, "It is my hope that the Church's conscientious efforts to confront this reality will help the broader community to recognize the causes, true extent, and devastating consequences of sexual abuse, and to respond effectively to this scourge, which affects every level of society," end quote. The Associated Press article rounds out its anti-Catholic argument with the opinions of a host of, quote, experts by focusing on what they consider a responsible handling of a child sex abuse case by Penn State's president, Graham Spanier. They also see the Church's fight for religious freedom as less than responsible social behavior in matters of same-sex marriage and publicly funded abortion and contraception. To read the whole article, just click on the link right outside the screen. And stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Heathrow harassment. We aren't even talking about security checks here. A Christian woman who worked at the Heathrow International Airport is accusing her employer of, quote, unfair dismissal. The Telegraph website reports she and other Christians faced, quote, systematic harassment when expressing Christianity through gestures as simple as wearing a cross, which one woman was verbally abused over to the point of tears. The woman filing the lawsuit is doing so with support from the Christian Legal Center, who see her case as very important in the United Kingdom, at a time when a string of legal cases begs the question whether Muslims and Christians are treated differently by employers. The woman, Nohad Halawi, says her tormentors blamed Jews for the 9/11 attacks and told her that she was going to hell for practicing her religion. Little Jihad, the heaviest naturally born baby in the history of Germany, is making headlines for more than just his weight. His Muslim mother has named him after none other than the war Islam wages relentlessly against unbelievers. Baby Jihad was born weighing 13 pounds at a time of severe political unrest in the country as tension grows between German citizens and an exploding Muslim population. Germany has the second largest number of Muslims in Europe after France at 3.5 million, 80% of which do not have German citizenship. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael describes the American influence. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.